Hello everybody, so today we're going to talk about COP27 and I'm joined by the lovely Louise in the Sustainable Investment team. So Louise, let's get into it. What is COP27 and what is Aviva Investors doing there this year?
Hi Tom. Yeah, so COP27 is the 27th climate summit where governments come together and agree on steps to limit climate change and the temperature rise. It's taking place in Egypt in Sharm el-Sheikh. And I'm not there, as you can see, I'm in the office, but some of our colleagues are. So our CEO is there, as well as our Chief Responsible Investment Officer. It's actually, he's been going there for quite a long time. His first COP was 22 years ago. And there's quite a lot of initiatives that we're pushing over there. But one key agenda is on making the polluters pay through things like carbon taxes, for example.
Making the polluters pay. That sounds like a very just cause and very sensible too. So I've got another question, COP27. You probably know that you do know that I was traveling for 6 months, haven't been around for a while and spent a lot of time in lower income developing countries. Amazing nature, a lot of people doing amazing work on nature conservation and promoting ecotourism. But there's a recognition over there that despite their best efforts, actually climate change can just completely undo all of that good work. To give you an example, we saw probably about 8 glaciers, and a lot of those will be completely disappeared by 2030. So I just wondered, at COP27, is the discussion about helping those lower income countries?
Yeah, for sure. It's actually one of the really important sticking points at COP27. There's one aspect, climate finance, which is really about wealthier countries helping lower income countries finance that kind of investment that you need to be able to reduce your environmental impact. And that's, for example, by investing in renewable energy and other things. The intention was to put forward $100 billion US. That target was missed. It was supposed to be by 2020. It's been moved to 2023. It was missed by $17 billion. But in essence, that was always a hotly debated topic because of, deciding on who's going to pay and how much, really.
So it's good that it's been discussed. So we're thinking about how we pay for the future, pay for the impacts of climate change. But who's going to pay for the past? Because there are already impacts being felt by climate change already. So is that something that's also been discussed at COP27?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the impacts of climate change are very tangible already. Talking about the headlines this summer around the droughts, the floods in Pakistan. There's 20 million people in Africa right now whose lives are being endangered because of their livelihoods depending on rain. And 3 rainy seasons have been missed now. So I guess the impacts of climate change are already being felt, but the countries that are feeling the impacts already are probably not the ones that contributed the most to climate change. And so there's this concept called loss and damage, where wealthier countries that have contributed more to climate change will help dedicated funding for those lower income countries to deal with the impacts of climate change.
So making the polluters pay.
Exactly.
So I guess that's probably quite controversial. I don't think there are many countries putting their hands up to make any payments anytime soon, or am I wrong?
No, there's there's very few countries that have actually announced and pledged dedicated funding to loss and damage. But there's actually one country recently that announced $13 million US, and that's Denmark. It sounds quite small, but it's actually, setting a precedent and a positive step, really.
That's great. That's really interesting stuff, Louise, about COP27. Some really hot topics been discussed over there, and I wish the team the best of luck to push our agendas as well. So thanks so much for joining me today, and thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back again next week with another episode.